All right, let's see if this works and if this is live. All right, firstly, do I have audio? Hey, well, look at that. I might actually have audio. Do I have video? Oh boy, I have video and audio. I feel spoiled today. Who knows, they may even be in sync. Unexpected error occurred while recording. Fuck you. There we go. Record. You can do it. Alright, so today we're going to be going over an 820-3330 that beeps. This is my least favorite repair, is when something beeps. Because very often beeping is indicative of a bad CPU, bad PCH, crack it somewhere in the motherboard, some messed up trace. And to answer your question, because I know it will be asked, we have tried new RAM. Have you tried new RAM? Have you tried reseeding your RAM? Yes, we have. Thank you for thank you for your tier 1, other continent tech support there. So, hear that? It's beeping. I don't like beeping. So what are the things that are going to cause beeping besides bad RAM and internal board just fucked upness between the CPU and the RAM? It could also be caused by RAM that is not getting power to turn on. So let's check on the schematic here in the board view and see if my RAM is getting power to turn on. Now, 99% of the time, I will be clear, 99% of the time, the issue has nothing to do with the RAM not getting power or the RAM being bad. I would say 99% of the time that it's beeping, it has to do with something screwed up in the board between the CPU and the RAM, which means no money for Lewis. But I'm hoping here, since it's Friday night, that we're going to be able to celebrate with a nice repair that's going to be able to bring some money for Lewis, because I could use some drinking money. So we are going to go to page 7 on the schematic, which is going to list all of the different power rails here, and get started. So let's dig in. Wrong. There we go. So we dig in on page 7. Or is it earlier in this one? Or are we? Oh, we're not even on the right schematic. Okay. Now we're on the right schematic. Page 7. Stop beeping, that's annoying. Stop beeping, that's annoying. I said stop beeping! God damn it. Okay, so we don't get to make the machine stop beeping until we solve it, which is going to be our incentive here. So this here is a line called PP1V5 S3 DDR. DDR, I wonder if that has to do with my RAM. So let's search in the board view for that rail, and as you can see, that rail goes directly to my RAM. So I'm going to guess that this is something that's needed for this to work. So let's turn on the multimeter, get it in serial mode, and see what we get on the screen. You may notice that there's less noise today. It's because I'm using a real alkaline AA battery for my wireless pack instead of these cheap Energizer things. So apparently, and I feel you live and learn. So apparently these little piece of shit batteries from Energizer, these rechargeables, they put out 1.2 volts, whereas an actual battery puts out 1.5. And it doesn't matter if you're just putting it in a wireless mouse or something, but if you're using it in a wireless body pack, I have a feeling that's what's been causing my noise. So not the crackling, the computer crackling, because sometimes the noise is very clearly computer buffering, crackling, nonsense like that. But there's been this little noise. It's kind of like a harmonic on whatever I'm saying in the past few videos. And it's really annoying. And I think it's because, and I measured one of those batteries, and it puts out 1.2 volts, not 1.5. So, to be clear, it does say on the battery that it doesn't put out 1.5, but I used to think AA's were all AA's, and apparently not. Fake news, man. Fake news. So I got some new rechargeables on the way that are supposed to be rechargeable AA's that are 1.5 volts, and we're going to see, because I sure as fuck am not spending $5 on batteries before each stream. So, anyway. Let's get on to this, and we're going to move this over to the microscope, And we're going to measure and see what we get. And as usual, everything is going to move on my desk and get knocked over because that's the way this desk works. So we need to measure right over here, right? So let's see what voltage we get. We need to measure on this cap, and we should be getting 1.5 volts. And on this board, we get 0.002. All right, so let's see where that comes from. And again, we're going to keep the beeping on because that's going to motivate us to solve it. Once we solve the beeping problem, we don't have to hear the beeping anymore. It's called incentive programs. Thank God this one doesn't have soldered on RAM. Yeah, but it does have soldered on RAM circuitry, so for me, it's all the same. Urez says, it's a shame the state Eli's channel is in at the moment. I discovered him 2 months ago and his older videos were alright. Like 8 videos. Yeah, it's one thing when it's like 8 videos in a row on SJWs and Anita Sarkeesian and Sargon without much meat and potatoes in it. I guess it's kind of weird using that analogy now that I don't eat meat anymore. But like this, there's no... Like, I don't really care if you talk about a bunch of other stuff that has nothing to do with your main channel's topic. I really don't. I'm not bothered by it at all. I genuinely don't care. But when I go and I want to hear the argument and I want to hear the point of view that's going to open my mind to, you know, different worldview, and I don't get that, then it's just kind of a waste for me. Sad. The meter goes a couple of seeks between batteries. Yeah, but at least the meter always works properly while it has a battery in it. Whereas the microphone, it will sound like shit when the battery stops working. At least the meter works until the battery dies, and then I just charge it and it's fine. All right, so it looks like this is where we're going to be getting our PP1V5 S3 RSO from for the RAM here. And let's just make sure. Let's just make sure that this is the right thing. So PP1V5 S3 RSO FET, let's see where that goes to. Let's follow this all the way to a completion. And that goes to PP1V5 S3 RSO, which is PP1V5 S3 CPU VCC DDR, which is... Oh my god, is anybody else getting a headache here? Jesus. This is such a headache. Such a mindfuck. Okay, so let's just go to U7801 and see what's going on in that area. Hey, Paul, what's up? So let's go over to... Whoa. Okay, so we've got... Okay, so U7300 is going to be related to this. Let's find U73... So why did I find my way to U7801? U7801 is going to... What rabbit hole do we go down first? U7801 or U7300? So let's check U7300. All right, U7300. So U7300... let's see, on pin 2, what's on pin 2? PP1V5 S3 DDR is going to show up on pin 2 of U7300. However, on pin 2 of U7300, on the schematic, it shows up as PPVinSO DDR LDO. The fuck? Oh, because that's a subrail of PP1V5 S3 DDR, which is a subrail of PP1V5 S3 DDR iSense. Ah! God, this is annoying. Okay, so U7300 has nothing to do with this because this is where the voltage goes into this chip at the top. So this chip is not responsible for creating it. So let's go back to U7801 and see what's going on over there. Oh, my head. My fucking head. It's killing me. All right, so U7801. All right, so this chip, I imagine, the point of this is to create one V5 over here. When P1V5 CPU enable is present, and it's powered off of PP5E S5. Why can't you put live streams and edited versions in the same channel? Because if I do that, then people will bitch that I'm spamming their feed. The whole point of this experiment is to end people's bitching, which I know is really an incredibly stupid thing to do. Like just trying to end people, like because people will find a reason to complain about anything. But I want to see what happens. Like if for 1 month I follow the requests of as many people as possible, will the complaining end? Which is silly, very silly, but still something to think about. So here I'm solving every complaint. Okay, so U7801 is going to be over here. So the first thing I need is P1V5 CPUEN. And it looks like that is, you can't see because I don't have the meter on. That's present, 3.3 volts, just fine. Now on pin 1, pin 1 is going to be up here. That's supposed to be 5 volts, and we get 5 volts. Now let's see what's going on Q7801. So Q7801 is going to have, let's see, on pin 5. Let's go over here. Am I looking at the right chip, or am I losing it? So this is Q7801 right here. This is going to be pin 5. This is all pin 5, and I'm supposed to see 5 volts there. Am I losing my mind? Am I what? Okay, no, I'm supposed to see PPVin S3 P1V5 S3 RSO FET at the top of that transistor. Okay, so what's that? That voltage is a subrail of PP1V5 S3. Oh God, this is just... My head is not in it today. My head is not in it today. Where are you created, mofo? Show me where you're created, mofo. Yeah! We're back here! This is pain. Okay, I know. It's gonna... That's out. Okay, what is this? PP1V5 S3 DDR iSensor. Now, we're going to find out where you're created if it fucking kills me. That comes from PP1V... No. No, just stop. Stop. Stop trolling me. Please stop trolling me. Oh, man. Let's see, where do we find this rail? This is a troll. Okay, so it comes from this, PP1V5 S3 iSense R. This must be a troll. Which comes from PP1V5 S3 Reg. Which doesn't show up anywhere else in the machine. Which comes from PPDDR S3 Reg. Which... Aha! Okay, so I'm an idiot. We're back at U7300. Okay, so U7300 is going to be responsible for this rail, PPDDR S3 Reg, which is not being created. So if we look around U7300, we have to figure out what is going to create PPDDR S3 Reg. So that's an S3 rail. So we have DDR Reg enable and DDR VTT enable. So over here, this chip outputs a VTT voltage, but it also outputs this DDR Reg voltage. So I'm going to guess that at U7300, I would guess that we're supposed to have PP5ES3 coming in on pin 12, and that we're also supposed to have DDR Reg enable on pin 16. So let's check U7300. My brain is killing me today. So we're going to check on pin 16 and also on pin 12. So on pin 12, I'm expecting PP5ES3, and on pin 16, I'm expecting 3.3 volts to enable it to turn on. My expectations are too high. Okay, so the meter just turned off. Let's just turn the meter back on. So 5 volts is coming into the chip. And and this is, okay, so this chip is being told to create, it's being told to turn on. U7300 is being told to create DDR reg enable. However, it is not doing that for some reason. So if we check at L7330, let's find L7330, and you'd better not be on the bottom of the board because I don't got the patience to take it out tonight. L7330. That coil is on the bottom of the board, and no, we ain't fucking with you. All right, so let's see. Where else can we check for? We can check for a short to ground on that rails. Up here somewhere, I'm sure. And I'm not taking no board out tonight. Hell no. We got a probe point up here we can check on? Doesn't look like it. You're going to make me take this thing out of the machine? That what you're going to do? Saturday night? Really? Really? Alright. Well, I'm just going to make sure that it's still beeping while I'm working. It's going to beep, beep, beep. Oh, shut up. Beep, beep, beep. Beep, beep, beep. Most annoying sound in the world. The board is easy to take out. Yeah, but I don't wanna. I wanna just have JTAGs tonight. Today's a very JTAG-ish day. Today is a day where I just want to just murder little JTAG connectors, rip them off the board, listen to their SPI lines and SDA lines, scream in pain, and then go home. You clean all the MacBooks when reassembling. It depends on the patience of the customer. Patience? Yes. No patience? It really depends on how many times they've called. Because there are times where I've actually been in the middle of it and I get a call bitching that it's not done yet. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, I'm cleaning something that's nasty, that has all this dirt and crap on it. And I don't really have to do that. And I'm on the phone listening to somebody get mad at me because it's not done yet. So what I do is I look at the ticket and I see how many times they've called us before we've called them. And then I look at my queue and how much time is available and how many people are in front and how many people are impatient. And then I just kind of, it goes into an algorithm. It goes into the douche algorithm. And then we decide based on the douche algorithm. It's not a yes or no. It's not a policy. I would say that most of those things, it's not necessarily a policy. It's an algorithm. Like for what it is we're going to do. And it really does depend on a number of factors. Usually related to douchiness of behavior. All right. So we're going to measure and see if we have a short to ground on this coil over here. So on... yawn. So on L7330, right here, I'm going to measure that. And it's not under the microscope, but I should put it under the microscope. Stop being lazy. Okay. This is the coil. We're going to put the meter into resistance mode. One pin on ground, the other pin on here. Now on a 1 volt line, we're going to expect that the resistance to ground is going to be low. That doesn't necessarily mean it is a short circuit. 354 ohms. Now let's see if I have a working 820-3330, or not even a working one, but just something that has some of its original chip still on it. Alright, so this actually is missing a CPU, a GPU, video RAM, PCH, and all that. So this is a bad example. But just out of curiosity, since it... Yeah, bad example because it's missing everything. Do I have a 3330 that actually has chips on it? I don't have a 3330. I do have a 2915, though, that still has chips on it. So I'm going to measure on that because it's probably close enough. It's just 1 year behind. So let's see. On the 2915, what does this line get to ground? Okay, so it looks like this line gets, 25 kiloohms to ground on a 2915 board that's got all its chips on it. So I am calling that is a little too low. That seems a little too low for me. Yeah, so this resistance down here, 285 ohms, that just seems like bull. Let me just take out the RAM, just in case. You never know, maybe the RAM is doing that. Okay, maybe the RAM was doing it. It was putting a load, but still, Okay. So let's think. So U7300 is getting DDR reg enable. It's getting its voltage in, but it's not giving me anything out. Now, very often the problem here is that DDR reg enable is not present, and this is a painful one, because you want to, or DDR VTT is not enabled. So DDR VTT enable over here. The usual problem is that that's not present. And we're lucky that we're not with that problem. Because if you look here, DDR VTT enable comes from MEM VTT enabled. And if you want to see how we get that signal on this board, oh God. You want to talk about a nightmare? Look at this fucking circuit. Okay, take a look at this bullshit. What the hell? This is painful. See this? Look at this. Look at this. I mean, you can figure it out. Don't get it twisted. Like, you just got to sit there and just write everything down or go through it in your head. And you'll figure it out, but it's the type of thing I'd want to be figuring out today. I know that much. But anyway. So I remember the first time I saw that page, I wanted to cry. Okay, so back to U7300. So I'm going to remove U7300. We're going to repeal U7300 and perhaps replace it with a better U7300. So let's get the hot air station on. I just want to double check here. My resistance to ground with the RAM detached is still... Yeah, that's not... Yeah, like 900 ohms. It's a low voltage line, but still it's very far off from the 2915. And the 2915 is really not that much different from the 3330 that we're working on. So let's take U7330 and remove it and see what happens. Here, fix the board that get fried by the Chinese charger. Not the 12-inch. That one's still in the queue. That one is still in the queue. We'll be curious what happens to resistance when we take this IC off. And again, I understand completely that this being a lower voltage line, I should expect a lower resistance to ground. But when the kiloohms is going up so quickly on a 2915 that's fully populated, I just don't see why it would be so different between the years. So that resistance to ground is... I don't have a working 3330 in front of me to compare with, but so I'm making an educated guess here. Okay, so U7300, the original, has been repealed. Let's do a little bit of cleaning off before we replace. Unis donated 5 Ross for the Herman Miller Fund. Thank you. This is actually a Herman Miller chair that I have here. It's not the chair that's uncomfortable. It's this damn microscope. Let's... New channel, new Russian spies. Keep up the good work. Huh. Is that a new one, or is that yesterday's that is just... Oh, yeah, I think that Streamlabs is being retarded and pumping through yesterday's as today's. Because I'm pretty sure that that's a direct copy and paste from yesterday. Actually, I'm 100% certain, looking at my window, that that is a copy and paste from yesterday. Go Streamlabs. Go Streamlabs. That's yeah. Okay, Streamlabs is pretty... yeah, Streamlabs is being an idiot. Streamlabs, you're being incredibly smooth-brained here. What the fuck? No, that's literally from yesterday. That is from yesterday. Alright, I have to turn that feature off for the time being because it's being stupid. Speaking of stupid, are you watching me wick with a micro pencil? This is me wicking with a micro pencil. Louis, your green light explanation is excellent. Thank you. I'm glad it helped you. Okay, now that's just being dumb. That's just... Alright. Nice and clean. So, Uraz, what are your thoughts on the whole Anita Sarkeesian and Sargon crap? I'm curious for your opinion. I think we're going to have the same opinion there. Call me nuts, but I'm just kind of curious what your first impression was. By showing up at my panel and sitting down in front of me quietly listening, you're aggressing me. What is wrong with the world? What the fuck is wrong with the world? I've always found it particularly entertaining when I hear this crap about how, like, men cannot be harassed on the internet, or it's, I mean, like, how about this? Open a store in the middle of the most connected area of the United States, that is one of the most visited areas of the United States. In the middle of that place that is the most visited, open a retail location. Then give everybody your phone number, your address, and after doing that, have it be a retail store so that you can't even tell people to leave because they may want to pretend that they're interested in doing business with you just to talk to you. And then you will find out the meaning of harassment. Now, I'm not saying that harassment does not exist, but this concept that you cannot be harassed online because you are a male, or that it's somehow just like, what? Freaky. Alright, I found a board that looks like it has a reasonable U7300 on it. But before I actually put that on there, I'd like to see if my resistance has changed at all on the bottom of the board. So let's get my meter on. Okay, so this is... What the fuck? Alright, I gotta turn those things off because they just don't work. Sorry. Streamlabs Streamlabs went full smooth brain today. That's 100% smooth brain right there. That is, it's just posting the same thing over and over again. I wish I was getting $50 given to me on and off like that. Okay, so it looks like removing U7300 did absolutely nothing. So most likely that was not my problem all along. We have the exact same resistance to ground. I could remove the coil to get an idea of which side that's on. That would probably be the smart thing to do. That was from yesterday. I thought I turned that off. Alright. So I'm going to turn off that feature where it reads things that you after a donation because it's reading donations from days ago. So let's remove the coil and see what side this very low impedance is on. Since when did we start doing the smart thing first? I don't know, man. That's not usually what we go for here. I like what you're doing with the channel by splitting it up. I hope it works. Awesome. That wasn't from yesterday. Really? Oh, fuck. Oh, okay. Let's log in and see. Alright, so we remove the coil. And while the coil is steaming, because the coil is mad, I'm going to check and see. Where is the YouTube stream, someone says. I will give you one guess where the YouTube stream is. It's on a site whose name starts with the letter Y. Sometimes you make this just too easy. Sometimes you make this too easy. Alright. There we go. Let's see. Okay, so one of these was actually from today. I was visiting New York today. I considered dropping in, but you were a bit out of the way for my schedule. Okay. That's honestly probably better off. I appreciate the $5, but you would be very disappointed because I feel like you would be expecting a happy and excited Lewis to see you, where in reality, like, you would walk in. Pretty much the way that would wind up working out is you would walk in. You would say, "Is Lewis here?" Steve would say, "Lewis is busy." Then you'd say, "Can I talk to him?" Then Steve would come back to my office and say, "Hey, would you like to interrupt what you're doing to talk to somebody?" I would cut him off mid-sentence to say no. Steve would go back to you and say no, and you would be set. So, or maybe not you, but that's usually the way it works in general. Like, I'm running a wire under... It always happens this way. So, I'm running a wire under an SMC, and somebody shows up, and... And it's like, fuck. I was almost there and got the wire. Yeah. I had somebody show up a few days ago, and this was another one of those weird interactions. This person looks at me and is like, oh my God, it's so good to meet. And it's so funny because I almost never ship stuff. I never ship anything. And the one time I'm like, okay, let me just open a fucking box. And this person walks in and is like, oh my God, dude, you're a god. And like, how do you reply to shit like that? Like, how do you have a dialogue with somebody that walks in, gets this smile on their face like they're about to cum their pants, and then says, "Oh, dude, you're a god." It's like there's no response to that other than pepper spray. And like, no, again, I'm not Antifa. I'm not trying to copy off Antifa. Don't give me a copyright strike if you remember. But you know, but it's like how are you supposed to respond to that other than acid in the face? Because like that's inside every time. And I've heard that enough times that it's just that I've thought about this. But like, how are you supposed to respond to that with anything other than just acid in the face? Because like that's just... You bring out the Anita Sarkeesian in me. Looking at me is aggression. Talking to me is aggression. Having the last word is aggression. Showing up at my panel is aggression. Aggression is aggression. All right, so as you can see, it is on the left side where we're having this short to ground. Not short. I shouldn't say short to ground, but that lower resistance of... let's just change the range here. I swear, I want to get a trap door installed in the front for when people that do that show up. Like, you're a... Ah! And then they just fall into the basement. I've thought about it. A trap door would be very efficient for those situations. All right, so it is on the left side that we're getting the lower 900 ohm resistance for ground. So we are getting a 900 ohm resistance to ground. I've worked in retail too, so I try to be curious about such things. Well, you sound like a normal person. Most of them, which is rare. All right, so how many people think that I'm you? I mean, that you're me. Oh yeah, that happens all the time too. No, you're messing with me. I know that you're actually Lewis. That's the funny part, when people start arguing and think that Steve is pretending that, that Steve is me and that he's pretending to not be me. Oh man. Okay, so let's see. What are we going to remove here to try to figure out what is shorted? So on this line, if we go to the schematic, the left side is what's shorted. The left side, well, it's the upside on here, is pin 2. Come on. There we go, pin 2. So it's going to be the capacitor. Oh, you little bastard, you fucking 330 microfarad, 2 volt polytant in a case B2? This is the enemy of the MacBook right here. This little capacitor, that is the enemy, that is the sworn enemy of the MacBook. The 2008 MacBook that turns off. The 2009 MacBook that doesn't power the SMC. The 2010 MacBook that kernel panics. This needs to be repealed like the JTAG. This is the sworn enemy of the MacBook. This is junk right here. This little piece of C3540. Alright, so C7340. So we're going to remove those capacitors, being that they are the cancer of the MacBook. And I'm even going to remove the ones under it, too. We're just going to have a nice little capacitor destruction time here. Goodbye, 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 goodbye. If Lewis went to VidCon, would he get mobbed by fans or banned because he doesn't think the right way? Okay, first of all, I think that's adorable that you think that I actually am popular enough that if I went to VidCon, that anybody, literally anybody, they would recognize me. If I went to VidCon, nobody would recognize me. No. VidCon is for popular. You know, VidCon is for vloggers. VidCon's for the tech reviewers with the million subscribers. VidCon is for the popular news people. VidCon is for the makeup channels. Because that's the thing. You look at those events and it's like, this is one of the things that kills me about inclusivity and diversity. Especially when you look at stuff like, you know that YouTube Rewind? You ever see YouTube Rewind? Watch that where like they show you all the popular stuff of the year. And it's always the same old shit. It's, you know, you're never going to see Kyle from Secular Talk or Stefan Molyneux or Larry Elder or Eli the Computer Guy or Computing Forever or Sargon of Akkad or, you know, or any of that shit in YouTube Rewind. You're never going to see... you know, you're not going to see EEV. You're not going to see Dave Jones from EEV Blog you know, you're not going to see Dave Jones at EEV Blog in YouTube Rewind. You know, when he's saying why this new solar thing is bullshit and this, that, and the other. You don't see any of that. You just see like the family friendly, super jump cutted, you know, always smiling, blah. You know, it's like. VidCon is not for us, man. It's just, and this thing really makes that clear. VidCon ain't for us. VidCon is for, you know, the regular people. Sargon was there. Exactly. Sargon was there. And what happened to Sargon? How is Sargon treated at VidCon? The rules about no bullying, no harassment, no name calling. How did that go? Again, it's not for people that are going to speak their mind. It's not. It's just that's not the type of place that it is. It's the same thing as YouTube Rewind. It's this idea of like the benefit of diversity, meaning, you know, we are cool with all different types of people so long as they think the same, act the same, do the same. It's like blah, 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 blah. Nah. No. Yeah, so I'm definitely not popular enough that I would get anything at VidCon. And I know that. Like, again, you know, people will say that I have a large ego, but I know I don't think so. I don't really think I have much of a large ego, but I know that if I went there, nobody would recognize me. And if people did recognize me and I actually started speaking, I would probably be kicked out within 10 minutes. I would be kicked. Who am I kidding? I would be kicked out within like 2 minutes. It would probably make for a good video, at least. It would probably make for a good video. So whoever said that is correct. I would pay you to watch people fall down a trap door. You know what? That may actually be a good idea for YouTube. I think that would be a killer idea for YouTube. Just have a trap door for the people that walk in and have a little webcam there and just stream it. And then have a little bell that goes off every time somebody hits an Arduino sensor that's in the floor. That's a good idea. Okay. Now that we're all cleaned, that's removed all that stuff. That bell is going to keep going off. Yes, and Sargon was at VidCon, but again, did you see what happened? They apologized to the person that was insulting the person that was obeying the rules. It's a fucked up world we live in these days. For Pete's sake, put down Christopher Reeve's legs. Remember that song? Alright, so we've only made the resistance go up by about 200 ohms. Not very promising here. Resistance has only gone up by 200 ohms. And my donor board's resistance is, yeah, you get the point here. So what else is on that line? What am I missing? I got to be missing something. I wonder if Lewis is able to detect if someone is a viewer or not. Yeah, because there's always that little twitch in their eye when they walk in, like they're meeting Santa for the first time. I can usually tell before they walk in the store. And then I run. And I dive into my basement. I run back to my dungeon to hide. Okay, so where else does that go? So this goes to capacitor. Now, here's one thing that you may find a little funny. Do you notice how over here we have one capacitor? So let's just rotate this so it matches. Stop repeating the same donation. I gotta turn that shit off. Holy crap, that's from yesterday. That was posted on the screen 3 times. Streamlabs, you're dumb. Okay. I gotta get... Now Streamlabs should be officially turned off, because this is just stupid. So, and back to our regularly scheduled programming. If you look here, you have 1 capacitor, 2 capacitor, 3 capacitor, 4 capacitor, 5 capacitor. However, when you look on the motherboard itself, you see 1 capacitor, 2 capacitor, 3 capacitor, 4 capacitor. Hey, it's me. I can't find where the 3rd capacitor is supposed to be. Where's the 5th capacitor? Streamlabs had as much as I did to drink today. Streamlabs had as much to drink today as I had. As much as I had to drink today. Yeah, Streamlabs had as much as I had to drink today. Apparently. So according to the board view, there are supposed to be 5 capacitors. Yet when I look at the physical motherboard, I see 4 capacitors, which means that either I'm drunk or the board view is drunk. I had weird audio glitches on your stream. It's gone today. Oh yeah, that's because of the microphone. That's the microphone. That was the batteries in the microphone that I was using. I changed the batteries in the mic. I had to buy some alkaline. Can't keep using rechargeables. So, turn the board over. Flip the board over. Okay, so let's flip the board over. Where is it? Show me the cat. Show me the cat. Where's the cat? This, oh wait, this is not a cap. This is XWD. That's a, what? Uh-oh. Oh, that's a jumper to something else. Okay, I'm being an idiot. This is not a capacitor. This is not a capacitor. This goes to this. XWD010. Okay. XWD010, but that goes back to U7300. So this is, no, it doesn't. No, that's a different one. No. Okay. Come on, get your brain together. Come on, get your brain together. Okay. XWD010. Okay, that attaches this to the current sensing circuit. Okay. So, what's up over here? What's up with this? So RD011? Is that even a thing? What's an RD? RD012. And then UD010. Okay, so where is this shit? Okay, so all of this has got to go as well, actually. Or does it? Let's see, what does that look like? So all of that stuff doesn't actually exist on this motherboard. That, so UD010, it's a Surface. It's a fucking Microsoft Surface. It's a hoax. It's a jinx. It's a scam. It's fake news. Okay, so what we should be focusing on is PP1V5 S3 iSense. Where does that go? We're going to remove the shit on that line, wherever that follows us to. And this is probably not going to go well. So that leads to these 3 rails over here. PP1V5 S3, PP1V5 S3 DDR, RSense I, blah, 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 blah. That, and, oh dear God. Okay, that, goes to this. Yeah, we're back to this thing again. And that goes to, fuck me. Okay, that goes to this. Which goes to that, which goes to this, which... Really? Which goes to... Okay, let's just go through every single one of these things. What do you go to? Mem reset. Okay, so maybe this could... No, it's not going to be... Could that capacitor be... Maybe? Could that be it? Maybe the 1 kilo ohm of resistance is because that goes to this, and then this goes to this, and mem reset L is going to ground, maybe? Mem reset L? Where does mem reset L go to? Mem reset L goes to this, which doesn't have a path to ground. Oh, Jesus Christ. What a rabbit hole. Okay. More interplay than a ballroom dance, someone says. Yeah, this is a cluster. I still can't believe this. This is just an incredibly not fun motherboard. A 1 kilo ohm to ground. That sucks. This is going to be a nightmare. Because that could just be anything at that point. You're never going to measure it. PPDDR, S3, VRAM, LED, the... How do we want to go about solving this? What is a reasonable approach to take? I'd really like a 3330 that has all of its PCH and whatnot on it. But all I can settle for is a 2915. Let's see, and this really does look like it's almost the same layout. When I measure that same point on this one, yeah. It's supposed to be far higher in kilo ohms. Alright, so what else is powered by that PP1V5_S3 rail? There's so many of these. Yeah. Now even Open Board View's got a mind of its own. Open Board View is wasted. Alright, let's close, reopen. Behave, Open Board View. Open 820-3330. Okay, so that goes to the CPU. Oh, joy. So it could be a cap for the CPU. It could be you. It could be any of these that are intermittent. I'm stunned. It could be U7801. Like, where do you even begin? I mean, 1 kilo ohm to ground. That's just... Yeah, like, do I want to rip all that off to locate? Yeah, well, let's start with the things that have a higher chance. I'm really going to pray that it's not one of those little ceramic caps. On a healthy board, this line is a nice 4 to 10 kilo ohms at least. So what are the major players that this comes to? That's just trolling. That's some trolling. Now there was a cap in the middle here somewhere. That's this one. None of those seem off to me. I'm not going to take off every ceramic cap by the CPU. That's not happening. We're not doing that. Well, I might as well at least, before I go too far down this as a rabbit hole, put back the stuff that I've taken off that I know is not causing the short. The short that is not really a short because it's too high in resistance to be called a short, but you get what I mean. Use your meter. Yes, I am using my meter. I use my meter every day. This is leaning towards being some funny business with the CPU. It would be interesting if the CPU's memory controller decided to die. I meant on all those caps. Fuck that. I have to remove each individual cap for that. There's at least 90 of those. Hell no. Once that's what the game becomes, then the game ain't worth playing. This is the no fix, no fee game. Come on, move a little closer for me. There. PP1V5S3 Nitrocaster. The one that comes out of U7300. You're making me change tips. All right. It would be nice if the cap that was doing this were courteous enough, like the last cap, to at least have a solder blob placed next to it. That was some good stuff. Who's with their mother-in-law? Hey, my condolences. Stream to YouTube again. I hate the way Twitch doesn't let me pop out chat. I can't tell if you're kidding about the... You can pop out chat on Twitch, and I do stream to YouTube. I do believe. I had a feeling this wasn't going to be too easy. Could it be the chip that creates the 1v5 is the cause of the low resistance? Not that, because I removed that chip. I removed, but PP that voltage does go to the CPU amongst other things. Can't help but be curious now. Is anything different since we were... It's so loud in my office I can't even hear if there's beeping. Hey, we get PP1V5. Actually, you can't see what I'm measuring. I'm measuring over here. What the fuck did I do? I didn't remove the short. Seriously? Not beeping? Okay, I'm not going to be able to tell if this chimes because my office is so loud right now with all this hot air and fume extraction stuff. So now I'm curious if I get a picture on the screen. So this will be a board that I solved without really knowing what I did. What did I do? Or it is beeping, but it doesn't beep out of the bottom speaker. It beeps out of the top one. We'll see in a moment. I don't really know how to edit this video for YouTube because I've been editing the videos for YouTube where you kind of it gets to the point and it explains what I did. I don't know what I did. I have no idea. Get broken board, question mark, profit. Literally, get broken board, question mark, and then profit. That is the description of what went on here. I have no explanation for why this thing actually works. That's great. Let's see if we get a picture on the screen, because that'll be a confirmation here. Hey, at least it wasn't MEMVTT enable missing, because that always goes back to platform reset missing, and platform reset missing goes back to getting tossed in the donor bin pile. Or selling it to Duke. I would sell a board that's missing platform reset to Duke. I would put that in his pile. Duke loves 2915's missing platform reset. I hear that's his favorite. Okay. Show me a pictar. I want to see pictars. And webcams. Yay! Oh, well, I can't. Come on, charger wire. Be long enough. Come on, be long enough that I can turn this around. Ah, it's stuck under the desk. Fuck, I gotta turn it around this way. Well, as you can see, the screen is turning on. In a second, you will see a question mark. There we are. We have a question mark. So it has been fixed. And I'm not really sure what I did to fix it. But I fixed it. What are you going to do? You can't win them all. I think the resistance in the beginning was 300 to 400 ohms, and then when it went up to 900 to 1.2 kilo ohms, that's when it was actually fixed. And I probably should have stopped at that point, but I did not stop at that point. I fixed it. I fixed it. Yay. It just wanted some attention. Must be a female board, says Solo. What's next? What's next? Okay, here we have a board with no video from our favorite franchise that opened up nearby. Let's take a look at this. What's going on with this piece and pile? We get some ASMR now. No, I don't provide ASMR. All right, so no picture is this, and it looks like the battery's been removed. So let's see at some point. So let's see. We turn it on. Come on. Do we get a chime? Do we get a light? Do we get a picture? Do we get none of the above? Not NitroCast. It says broken ceramic caps sometimes behave like that. This board may develop the same issue later. Yeah, it's one of those things where you don't figure it out unless you get it regularly. Like Duke didn't figure out C9560 overnight. He figured it out over years of probably wanting to scream and throw the things at the wall until it finally came to him one day. You have to have that problem over and over again to really narrow down that type of problem. All right, so the fan is spinning on this board, which is the most important part. We turn on the meter. So firstly, before we figure out if we think it's no image, is it no brain? So it is turning on. It does have a brain. It's more than I can say for some of the people at VidCon. And over here, we've got 0 volts going to the LCD. So the LCD is not even getting a picture. It's not being told to turn on. And that sucks. All right, so let's take a look at that area. Just turn this thing off and see if anything looks funny. I'm also going to turn the board around. We're going to look at the other side of this and see if anything looks funny. Did you see my mom's review for your dad's book? No, I didn't. Yeah. I don't usually read the reviews for my dad's book. I didn't read all of my dad's book. Don't tell him. He'll be I read a good amount of it, but I didn't read the whole thing. I got to check that out. Thank you for buying my dad's book. What's the counter for in the top left corner? In the top left corner is a television and then paper towels. So I don't know what you mean. Where can I buy your dad's book? It's on Amazon. Let's see. It's a baseball book, so let's see. Where is that book? Here we go. So this here is my dad's book. One of his dreams was to get published. Oh, that's Tarman's review. Thank you. So yeah. I like my dad, but sometimes I think I'm adopted because if I wanted to figure out who was responsible for 9/11, I would and I found one of the people who was the conspirators. The worst thing that I can imagine, I wouldn't send them to Guantanamo Bay. I wouldn't send them to Guantanamo Bay. I wouldn't waterboard them. I wouldn't torture them. I wouldn't beat them. I wouldn't shoot them. I would put them in a handcuff them to the bleachers and force them to watch an entire baseball game. That's what I think of baseball. But my dad really loves baseball. You're a Cubs fan. I'm not really a fan of any of that, to be honest with you. It's just, I mean, most professional sports is, look at that guy! He's about to make another $1 million if he wins! Wait, but if the guy in the other team wins, he'll make $2 million! Don't you want him to make $2 million instead? Oh, he's about to get, he made a goal! He's gonna make another $2 million and fuck a cheerleader! Like, why am I rooting? Why am I going to invest time out of my life to watch somebody compete for money and the ability to fuck the cheerleaders? Like, just no. I'm going to spend my time discussing topics of interest to me. I'm going to spend my time making my money. I'm going to spend my time being entertained by an interesting story. Like, by all these people that cheer, like, yeah, he just made another million. Like, no, I'm not going to cheer on people that I don't know, watching them make millions and millions of dollars. And no Bernie Sanders, no pay your fair share, no the top, no hatred for the top 1%. When I say that, you know, make all the money you want, you do you. I wish you the best of luck. I just don't. I'm not going to actually pay money out of my wallet to sit there and watch you become a millionaire for throwing a ball. Just no. It's not. And it's this. There's no goals in baseball. It's this. No, it doesn't. It doesn't make a difference. It's like basketball, baseball, football, all of them. If I'm playing the sport, which I suck at all of them. The only thing I used to be good, like decent at, is football because I can run really fast and I can tackle. But I'm small enough that I can probably run faster than you if you can beat me up, but I'm if you're my size, I can tackle you, and if you're larger than me, I can outrun you. So I was really good at football, even though I couldn't catch, I couldn't throw, I couldn't do any of that shit. But if I had the ball, I would usually make my way to the end with it, and nothing professional or high or any kind of real structured competition, just stuff on the block with the other kids. But if I'm playing it, I get it. But if I'm not playing it, what, you think I'm just going to watch you win so that you can just get like a line of models and cheerleaders and actresses to fuck you as you move into your $8 million mansion? And I'm going to pay $150 for season tickets to watch that exhibition and then go home to my apartment? Hell no. Fuck out of here. No, if you like sports, that's fine. I got nothing against you. I really don't. And I don't have anything against the athletes. I don't. But there's no way in fucking hell I'm going to spend money or time out of my day to just watch somebody else that I don't know, I don't have any personal connection with, become more of a millionaire. It's not what I'm going to do with my life. It's not what I want to do with my time. Okay, so that being said, let's check around the LCD connector area over here. The LCD connector area looks fine. Yeah, I'm not going to watch other people become millionaires. No. Not feeling that. Not feeling that. Oh, come on, get in better focus. Give me some better lighting and focus. Focus, you bastard. Sergeant Doc says there are people that never win themselves. They root for some sports guy, and if he wins, they feel like they won. Yeah, but you didn't, because you paid $150 for tickets to watch somebody else win. That's money that you could have spent on you. That could have gone into your mortgage, your car, your date with somebody, your vacation, your television, your microscope, your soldering iron. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being an asshole for no reason. Speaking of being an asshole for no reason, look at this board. So these are all the display port capacitors in that line, and they just look fine. Nothing wrong here. Nothing knocked off by carelessness. I don't see anything here that looks like it's been knocked off by carelessness. What I think happened here is that they fucked up the screen cable. I think they fucked up the screen cable. And I'm just saying that because it's another store, and I mean, who are we kidding? So let's plug in a different screen here. Now the fun part is, this is for 2015, and this is a 2013-14 board, which means I got to find a different screen for it. So I love how Apple does this thing where they have the same specification for the screen for 2012 through 2016, but in 2012 they used a different screen than 2013-14, which uses a different screen from 2015-16, none of which have backwards or forwards compatibility with the others, in spite of the fact that they all share identical specification. I think that's pretty interesting. That's a very Apple thing to do. So let me see if I got a display assembly here that's going to work. Is that a hole in the caps? No, there's no holes in the caps. Been following you on YouTube for ages. I'm a big believer in repairability and the advocacy you do. Keep fighting the good fight. Thank you. How the fuck can you read those tiny letters? I got 2013 vision. It came in very, very handy back before I had a 4K monitor. Trust me, if you have a 1600 by 900 screen and you're trying to read schematics, it comes in handy to have good vision. I almost forgot I should dump this 3330 in the cleaner while it's hot, so I don't have to wait for it to heat up tomorrow. Almost forgot about that. This has got to go in the cleaner. This board's got to pay its fair share. Which means taking off the heatsink and the speaker and all that stuff. Lowest bidder assembly. What do you think about Hackintoshes? They're PCs that run Mac OS. That's what I think about Hackintoshes. The more vague the question, the more vague the answer. $1,600 by 900. Ouch. Oh yeah, 1,600 by 900 for schematics. Those were painful times. We have recovered from those painful times. I remember that like it was yesterday. Terrible times. Mm-hmm. What is your opinion about Hackintoshes? I just don't know how to answer that. I'm not trying to be snarky. It's just like, what do you think of Hackintoshes being used as a server? What do you think of Hackintoshes being used for web design? What do you think of Hackintoshes to build? Give me a question. Give me something that I can dig my teeth into. You have to give me something I can dig my teeth into. It's like saying, what do you think of automobiles? Automobiles are cars that allow you to get around. Let's clean that. All right. So the fun part is I don't know if the screen assembly actually works. Hackintoshes are a pain in the ass to set up. Like mine over here, it just turns off. I mean, if I turn it off, if I hit shutdown, it just turns itself on. Just silly stuff like that. Like the whole point of getting a Mac is that stuff always just works, and you kind of lose some of that when you go to Hackintosh because you have to set up shit and texts and read guides and all that stuff. I really don't think Apple would lose out too much if they didn't go after them as much. But then again, then you'd have hardware makers that designed Macs that were like the. They would try to design PCs where they put all that shit together for you and set it up, so that the people who didn't want to pay the Mac premium would be able to get everything that you get when you buy a Mac. And then that would cut in Apple sales, perhaps. That's because your DSDT is wrong. See that right there. That's the thing about Hackintosh. Like, people who buy Macs, they don't want to Google what a DSDT is. They don't care. They just want their shit to work. So it just, Hackintoshes don't really present a legit challenge, in my opinion, to where Apple is right now in the market. Because I mean, I'm into technology. I don't even know what that is, and I don't feel like Googling it so that I can use my computer. I have a Hackintosh because there's one program that I run every now and then that only runs on Mac that's incredibly CPU intensive, and I'm not buying a $3,000 Mac Pro. I put together a shitty-ass $600 tower. I got the fastest Ivy Bridge CPU that I could get that was reasonable. It was like a $300 CPU in 2012 with a $90 motherboard. Yeah, so it was like a $90 motherboard, some $50 piece of shit power supply, some crappy $40 case, some crappy $60 RAM, and that's all I needed. I didn't no graphics card, no frills, and some crappy used hard drive. All I wanted to do was just be able to run that program, and instead of having it take 40 minutes, have it take 3 to 5 minutes, so that there were certain things I could do while the customer was still in the store. What did I come out here for? Oh, I need to find a screen assembly for that machine that I can test and that's known good. I almost forgot why I came out here. So that's all I wanted. And for that, the Hackintosh is great. Do I care if it turns off? Do I care if hot swap with SATA always works? No. Do I care if it's if the rest of it is intuitive? No. I set it up. It's been sitting there for 5 years. Every time I need to run the program, I run the program, and it's great for that. But, would I want to use it as a home user? Fuck no. Would I suggest somebody actually use that for professional use? Or if they're recording, if David Bowie's coming back from the dead, but for 20 minutes to perform You've Been Around in the middle of Central Park, and you only have one chance to capture it before he goes back into the deep beyond, am I going to do that on a Hackintosh? Hell no. Hell no. That's insanity. I would never trust that machine for that shit. But I would happily use it for, that kind of experimental stuff. Okay, so this machine probably has a working screen. So we can use you. Empty chair stream. Empty chair. Trolling Eli stream. Yep. This channel exists to troll Eli. That's what we do. That's what we do. There's always some stupid bug with Safari that I need to debug. I use VMware for that. Okay, so let's try it with a machine that has more likely a known good screen assembly for this machine than this cracked piece of crap I pulled out of the trash bin. Go boot. Go boot. And here you go. Ta-da! So they fucked up the screen cable. Fucking franchises, man. When I was doing that live stream rant while I was walking around the city yesterday, and the Bernie Sanders, the Frank Grimes came out in me. I'm talking to him and saying, like, I tried to get a store on this block for a year. Everybody laughed. Franchise that I've probably made $2,000 to $3,000 replacing backlight fuses for them. Just walks up and is like, "We want to open a store here," and they're like, "Sure." And do they fix the machine? No. It winds up on my desk because while replacing the keyboard, they broke the screen cable. Frank Grimes. I'm feeling Frank Grimes-ish right now. I'm feeling quite Frank Grimes-ish. So let's see. If I bend this shit back into place, so let's see. If I wiggle it around a little, will it work? So there's nothing wrong with this motherboard. There's nothing. Here's the thing with EDP, which is not emotionally disturbed person, but in this case, a DisplayPort. The thing with DisplayPort is that you're not going to get distortion on the screen if you fuck up the cable. You're just going to get no image at all. And that confuses people into thinking it's either a motherboard issue or a screen issue. Most often they think it's a motherboard issue, when in reality it is... Wait a second. No. Yeah, so let's see. We're going to reset PRAM on this. Yeah. Actually, no, I don't have to reset PRAM on this because it worked with another screen. Yeah, so this is the... Yeah, so you fucked up the screen cable. Ah. Ah. Sad. Alright. Well, I got some happy news for them tomorrow. But, yeah. And I also know that this screen assembly here doesn't work. So we need to mark this so that I know that it doesn't work, so I don't try to use it again. Because I keep using this thing again, even though it doesn't actually work. Damn. This is harder to break than I thought. Let's see. Because I don't have a marker back here. All right, so let's jerry-rig everything. Bend test. Bend test. You ready for the bend test? 1, 2. This is my screen assembly that's in my junk pile for testing. Jesus. You have to be like Zach and be able to bench like 360 before you can do this stuff. Ah, how the fuck does he do this without breaking his thumbs? Jesus Christ. Motherfuck. The retina passes the bend test, I gotta say. The retina passes the bend test. Oh, Jesus. We're going to do a bit of a revised version of the bend test here. Oh, that feels good. Let's end my evening with a little bit of bend test. Take me out to the ball game. Well, that's it for tonight, and as always, I hope that you learned something.